All right, what up? It's Shankster94, and welcome to my 30-second monthly Q&A. I'm your host, the Gamer Shankster, also known as Shankster94, and here with me is a very special guest.
Hey, what up, guys? It's Trey Keys coming straight from out of Key Element. Hey, I'm glad to be here today.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're able to participate in this, man. It's like, I've seen you a couple times on the channel, and, you know, I've been featured on your channel plenty of times, but it's about time we do something like this. Give the people a chance to know you a little better and ask you questions if they feel fit. All right. So, as usual, this is a great place for you guys to ask questions, receive answers, communicate with each other, have pitiful comment wars if that ever happens. I haven't seen that happen in a long time, but it's fun when it happens. And possibly witness a troll get smashed. We'll see, though. All right, so I see stuff coming in already. Who do we got here with us? We got Frey, a very frequent contender. What up, man? And, of course, my new #1 patron, Feargale the Fearless. What's up, man? All right. So, we already got some questions coming in, so I'm going to start the timer. This is going to be just 1 hour Q&A today. So here we go. And remember, Trey is here, so feel free to ask questions. What I'm going to do is if you guys don't specify like who the question is for, then he'll chime in if he has something to say about it. All right? Sounds good. Let's go. So, first, Frey, I would delete that. Feargale, guess who didn't have to work today? Really? I'm glad you didn't have to work, man, so you can make this whole Q&A. Yeah, he was bummed out when I said it because he said he was going to work, but guess it got cleared up. Okay, what's up? Lucky, hey. All right, here we go. To both of us, what do we do in our free time? I like to watch TV shows with Jen. If I'm working on content, of course, I like to edit or record. And other than that, I go to work. So there you go from me. What do you do, Key?
I mean, that's pretty much the same thing for me. Yeah, I like to watch all kinds of shows, mostly like what's currently trending. And try to do reviews if I can. I've been really slacking on that lately, but, but yeah, I try to stay up to date and try to just work on creative projects just because it's what keeps me going.
Nice, man. All right. Night Kid is off too. Sweet. Feargale, how did we meet? We met through our job. I had been working there for maybe just a couple of months when Trey got hired there as a production assistant. He started, well, I'll let you tell the story, Trey, if you want.
So originally I was hired on to be the I guess, night side editor for videos, and I was being trained for that. But they needed someone to start a little bit sooner than I was fully trained to do. So they actually had me switch to production assistant for Daybreak, and then there I've like mastered every skill that they had. And I guess we kind of became directors around the same time.
Yeah, roughly.
And then that's when I was moved to weekend directing. So yeah, that's pretty much how we met.
Yeah.
Through meeting Shane, I learned that he did the whole YouTube thing and that he was doing Resident Evil gameplays, and I was like, dude, that's pretty awesome. Like, to do that, I mean, I think I could get into doing that, and so I started doing video game segments too. So that was awesome.
Sick.
Just having made that connection.
Yeah, and then doing our first collab, which was actually like a little short film, which was pretty amazing actually for me because it was like my first acting credit, you could say. But yeah,
yes, Blood in the Water.
Yeah,
that's
sick.
Back on that movie.
Me too, man. Okay, awesome. Have either of us seen any new movies other than Welcome to Raccoon City? I have seen Spider-Man No Way Home since that. Epic movie.
Yes.
That's about it though.
I've seen a lot of movies. Yes, Spider-Man No Way Home, one of them. Damn, I've seen so many movies that I've lost count. And have you ever had that where you watch like a ton of movies, but you don't always remember which ones you saw?
Yeah, I can get that.
Like I saw the new Candyman.
Oh, okay.
It's not super new, but I saw that, and that was pretty good. Very different from its predecessor, but For the most part. A lot of the stuff that I've seen, I've enjoyed. I did watch a cheesy romance the other day that I was not really into, but I did it for my wife. So
There you go. Good
sacrifices have
man.
to be made.
Good man. All right. From Frey, when we're both hungry, do we go and buy food or make it in our home? I like to think I do a mix of both, but to be honest, I'm probably way leaning more towards go out and buy food, honestly, especially with my current lifestyle. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very quick to buy food, but only because it's already made. I don't have to cook it myself. I
Yeah,
don't mind occasionally cooking food, just because I seem to have a pretty good skill for it. Uh, I'm
that's
just
good.
very lazy, a very lazy
I feel you
person.
there, man. I'm like big sloth. All right. Hey, Josh Cool. What's up? All right. Feargal is asking you, Key, a specific question.
Okay.
How long have you been a Resident Evil fan?
I would say my fandom probably dates back to what, early 2000s, like around the time the Wes Anderson first movie came out. But it didn't stem from the movie; it stemmed from Resident Evil One, which I don't think it was the remake at that time. I think it was like the original one that was like on the PlayStation. I remember playing it and just playing that section where you go through the hallway and the dogs break through the glass and
Yeah,
just being freaked out. I never made it past that part. I always died right there in that hallway. So, yeah, I wasn't very good at it, but it left a bit of an impact on me to be like, wow, there are really scary video games out there. And that kind of transitioned into the arcade shooters. And then when the Paul W.S. movie came out, of course, that movie would give a new viewer the wrong interpretation of what Resident Evil, the storyline is. But I felt like it was kind of submitted at that point. So, yeah.
nice, man. Great intro. All right. Night Kid, you go to the movies often as well. It's hard for you to keep count as well. So he can relate, it looks like. You're frozen on my end, Trey. Oh, there you go. You're good. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I was getting the same thing from yours.
So yeah, he was a Night Kid was just relating to you on, I guess, how hard it's how hard it is to keep count of like all the movies they watch. All right, Josh Cool. How is our first month of 2022 so far? Wow. Okay, hold on a sec. Remove. All right, and I hid those. All right, there you go. All right. So the question was, how was our first month of 2021 so far? I think he meant 2022 because we're in
Okay.
2022. So it's going okay for me. I've had a couple hurdles I like this month so far that we had to get through. They were a little unpleasant, but I'm hanging in there now. I'm doing a little better for the rest of this month. So yeah, that's about as specific as I'm gonna get with it, to be honest.
Uh, for me, it's kind of mixed. So I had one really solid week within the month of January. We went down to Disneyland, my wife and I, for her birthday. So that was really pleasant. It was painful on my feet. I had no idea that I did not have it in me to walk long distances. But yeah, for the most part, I enjoyed all the new rides that they built. That was amazing. The Rise of the Resistance, the whole Galaxy's Edge was amazing. Avengers Campus, all of that was great.
Oh,
So
dude.
that for me has been the high note. That plus the release of the new Scream movie. Um, but aside from that, the downsides that I've had for this month have been two COVID scares. One of them was at work, and I came back clear of that. But my wife, she actually tested positive for COVID recently. I'm actually currently sick, but did not test positive for COVID. So. don't really know what that means.
Good.
So yeah, some ups and downs this month.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. Night Kid, you saw Candyman with a couple friends. You thought it was all right. Nice. Raphael Mo, hey, what's up? What is your favorite Resident Evil enemy variant? Example: zombies, Ganado, Magini, etc. My favorite enemy variant, it's like, if we're talking the general, like, simplistic enemies, like those examples you just gave, I personally like the all-time classic zombie. Honestly, it makes up most of the series, and they have evolved a bit throughout the franchise. Like, some are a lot more aggressive than others, and some are just a joke, honestly. But yeah, I'd say that would be mine. Do you have an opinion on that, Trey? It's like, do you have...
I'm sorry, what was the question? I'm over here trying to catch these Paul messages.
What is your favorite...
I didn't even get to read them, so I have no idea what they said.
You're okay. What's your favorite Resident Evil enemy variant? Like, zombies, Ganados, Magini, examples?
Huh. That's actually a good question. I think I prefer the zombies, but mainly because it's simplistic. It doesn't have like the overly complicated mutation aspect of it. It's just old school zombies.
Yeah, there you go.
Especially when you're in the creepiest atmospheres, like the mansions and all of that. That really, for me, is all I need.
Yeah. All right. From Frey to both of us, have we ever lost interest in Resident Evil only to get back into it a little bit later? I have not lost interest in it whatsoever since I've been in it. That's just a fact.
I know a lot of extremely diehard fans have gone back and forth, but for me, I've always just like I poked my head out right when I see something amazing, and I gravitate towards it. So that doesn't mean that I've played every single Resident Evil game that has ever existed, but definitely the ones that have caught my interest, I played. So I can't say that I've ever been like turned off by a Resident Evil.
There you go. All right. So yeah, around right then, I think Wyatt did pop in with a $2 lame super chat. All he said was, "I'm not stopping until you're in the ground." Oh, whatever, man. Lame. All right, Frey. Yeah, seriously, thanks for the free money. It makes no sense why you're doing that, man. It's like, you just simply want to be seen. That's all you want, it seems.
I think it's his only way of supporting. I don't know if it makes sense at all, but hey, whatever.
Whatever. All right. So yeah, Josh Cole did mean 2022. With all the celebs dying, the start off of the year is not looking well, says Night Kid. Yeah, I guess in that regard, kind of. I mean, we lost Betty White right before like her freaking 100th birthday, man. You couldn't get any worse than that when it came to 2021. I felt like it was like one last slap to the face for society or something like that. But
yeah, I think in regards to like the loss of Betty White, I mean, she is such an iconic figure, and she has been around for a long time, and she's also been of the elderly status for as long as I can remember. So I think it's just one of those things where it was her time. You know, and it does suck that it has to happen during all this COVID stuff.
Yeah, seriously.
All of that when we're trying to hold on to everybody that we can, but I don't know. We got to let go.
Yeah, it's just this sign of the times. I feel like the generations of actors and actresses we grew up with as kids, I mean, yeah, they're going to start going eventually, and it's our generation now that's going to dominate the industry. So,
yeah.
All right. Feargale, do we both think Xbox will fix Activision and Activision Blizzard? I personally don't care about this whole ordeal, so I don't really have an opinion. So, yeah.
It's funny because the way everyone's talking about it, it's like they just buried PlayStation in general. And I mean, personally, Activision and Blizzard have never been properties that have really, rang true for me. But I do like the idea of what they could do with it, being able to revitalize some of these very popular properties that they've had, like what is it, World of War, games like that. If they can add a whole new gen to that and spice it up to the next level, I think that actually could put them in some extreme competitive places with PlayStation in regards to their more story-based content. So, I mean, I welcome the competition. I look forward to just seeing what they have to offer. Maybe it'll turn me into an Xbox fan. Anybody who knows me, I haven't been really a fan of Xbox since 360.
Well said, man. All right, Hellmaster, this is... Oh, hey, Shankster, Key Elements, and chat. Just saying hello. What's up, Hellmaster?
What's up?
Frey, to both of us, what was our first job ever? Okay, well, that's very easy for me. I worked at Taco Bell for 4 years.
Yeah, I worked at Six Flags for a summer.
Hey, nice. That's a sick first job, in my opinion.
Oh, it sucked. It sucked.
Ah, damn.
So much ass. Oh my god. It was my job to clean up throw up.
Oh, okay.
It
yeah.
sucked.
So were you like a custodian basically or something?
Yeah, basically. I was one of those guys who walk around with the broom and the dustpan, and you just sweep up everything that you see.
Right. I see. All right. So Feargel is asking you specifically, Key, did you hear that GoldenEye 64 is getting a re-release?
No, I didn't. But what is it getting re-released on? And are the graphics going to be better?
It's like, I would hope so. It's like re-released. That doesn't mean remake. That means like released again. Like
updated.
It's like after what, 25 years or something like that?
Yeah, that actually sounds awesome. Like, I hope to. I mean, for me, that's always been like the original Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of the only first-person shooter games that I actually have a tolerance to play, but it's so awesome. It's one of, if not the best video game of all time, in my opinion.
Classic.
Yeah. All right, Frey, to both of us, how was 2022... or how was 2021 for both of us? Was it good, bad, or mixed? 2021 for me was a good mix. Probably, I'm going to lean more towards the good side for 2021. 2020 was the bad year, in my opinion. 2021 was a little better. It definitely had some downhill moments, especially with me and where me and Trey live with wildfires and everything. It's been a little hurdle. So yeah, I would say mixed, in my opinion, maybe just a smidge on the good side. There you go.
Yeah, I would say it was kind of rocky. I started that year off with a new job, lost that job, got another job. Back at the station that I originally got my start at, and was very dormant for a while. I think I was dealing with a lot of, I guess, unsureness of whether or not I should be trying to move forward or if I should start being content. Just life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we started to turn it around near the end of the year, and I got a new job and have been working too at the same time. So, I don't know. Things are looking up.
There you go. All right, Raphael Mo, out of all the special unlockable weapons in Resident Evil history, which weapons have been the hardest to get? In my opinion, one of the hardest weapons to unlock is the hand cannon in Resident Evil 4, because the requirement for that is to get 5 stars on every stage with every character. Now, to get 5 stars, you have to get a final score of 60,000 or more, and there are 4 stages and 5 characters. So that's 20 matches of mercenaries at the very least you would have to play in order to achieve that. And now, a lot of people I fear think the hand cannon isn't worth that requirement because, I mean, it's free from the merchant once you unlock it, but if you want to upgrade it fully, it costs, like, I forgot, it's a gargantuan amount. It's basically the worth of a legendary weapon from the merchant. But, yeah, that's one of the hardest things to unlock in any Resident Evil game, in my opinion. Trey?
I can't say that I have an answer on that matter. Yeah, because I've never really been much of a completionist in that regard to unlocking the most difficult weapons in Resident Evil. So yeah, that was definitely a more of a you question than me.
That's fine. There will be questions here and
I
there
guess
where
if I had to randomly say one, probably what the flamethrower in Resident Evil 2, the remake. I mean, I eventually got it, so I don't know. That's yeah. I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask.
you're fine, dude. Yeah, I don't even know if the flamethrowers are unlockable, but yeah, that's fine. That's not a question for you. Let's see. Best. Oh, here we go. Feargal, key specifically. What platform do you play on?
Like what console?
Yeah, I think so. Huh.
Yeah, I would say mostly PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation 4 is what I've been playing on for the longest. I've been trying to get a PlayStation 5, and it's what the funny thing about that is, I mean, as anybody knows, it's not a money issue. It's an availability issue.
That is damn true.
You know, it's getting to the point of where it almost doesn't seem like it's a real thing. Every time someone brings it up, it's like, yeah, PlayStation 5s are not real. That's not a real thing. It's a government conspiracy.
Right. All right. Frey, to both of us, do we like to be in parties with loud ass music and drinks or no? I personally haven't gotten to participate in such things very much in my lifetime, but I would love to go to one. So I would think yes, but yeah.
In regards to parties, I hate actually socializing. If I'm being honest, it's not my strong suit. But I usually do go to parties to, I guess you could say, save face. Like I'll be there long enough for people to acknowledge that I was there, and then I'll leave, preferably not first, but after the person that was first. Because
Gotcha.
I don't want to be known as the person who left first.
I get that. All right, Josh, cool to both of us. Best video game soundtrack, original or licensed? Just in general, huh? Man, that's a tough one. To be honest, I really like GoldenEye's soundtrack on the N64. It's pretty banging. I love how every mission has like its own soundtrack. Yeah, I'm gonna go with GoldenEye on 64.
I was gonna say the pause menu music for GoldenEye is freaking awesome. It is the dopest track I've ever heard. But outside of that, I was gonna say Uncharted. It's just very high budget movie from early 2000s, the Mummy level music. What you expect to see in a Hollywood picture.
Yeah. Sick, man. All right. Night Kid, imagine GoldenEye 64 on PS4. That would be dope. As long as it's like the source material, just maybe up-resed or something like that. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind just a continuation. I don't necessarily need to play the exact same story, but a continuation within that same style would be awesome.
Yeah, dude. There's a YouTuber called like Grassloo00 or something like that who has done like crazy mods on GoldenEye, like the N64. He literally did, I think, what you just described. He took the assets and the gameplay style and like made more games, like other James Bond games based on other films with missions and whatnot. He also did one like for Mario style or something like that. Just a cool channel to check out if you love GoldenEye and like to see its assets reused or something like that. All right. Let's see. Hellmaster's making a comment on your first job, Trey. Clean up at Six Flags? That reminds him of middle school when everyone had to rake leaves at the zoo. Almost everyone complained about their backs hurting.
Yeah, it is kind of like that, especially because they expect you to be on your feet the whole time.
Ah.
So that's you're pulling a minimum wage hours, so you're constantly standing, and they expect you to be doing something.
Right. All right. Afraid of both of us. New Year resolutions. I didn't make one for this year, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't make any either, just because I don't want to make any more empty promises.
Yeah, same.
I do want to get better about things, but I don't want to make promises about it.
Exactly. All right, Feargill. To me specifically, which one of me and Jen's 3 cats is the oldest? That would be mine, Naomi. She is 8.5. She will be 9 years old in May. Yeah. All right. Josh Cool, to Key specifically, what are your thoughts on the 2010 GoldenEye remake?
On the 2010 GoldenEye remake.
Did you ever play that or come across
I
it?
don't even think I knew that existed.
It came out like on the Wii, I think, initially, and then I want to say it was ported to other consoles of the same generation. I think it was titled GoldenEye Reloaded or something like that.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now, but only because I never heard of it.
I did a little bit of gameplay myself. Like, my real life friend Ryan brought it over one time, and I played a couple missions, but I immediately lost interest, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like this came at a point in time where, like, I wasn't as heavily on YouTube, so like I didn't follow like video game and movie news as well as I used to. Well, at that point in time, I just wasn't into it yet.
Right.
That didn't come until later, so it doesn't surprise me that I didn't know it existed. So,
all right, Feargill, to both of us, to theorize, who do we think? Okay, first of all, Trey, have you ever played Resident Evil Revelations?
Revelations.
This is like takes place on a ship mostly, and you play as Jill.
Oh yeah, I didn't play it all the way through, but I did play it a little bit. I was renting it, I think through GameFly or whatever. So
okay,
my time limit to play it was actually very limited. I played through like the opening section. I think the last thing that I did, I was taking samples from like monsters on a beach or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's actually like the second or so mission. So if that's where you left off, then you actually didn't play very much of it.
Yeah, I lost interest the moment I got to that part. No offense to everyone who loved to do that. It was not for me.
So
I was like, where's the zombies? I'm out.
So the question is, and why I asked was because this is a scenario from that game, so I don't even know if you know it. But to theorize, who do we think Jessica went to work for after Morgan Lansdale's arrest? So this is basically the conclusion, so I don't even know if you recognize that event.
No.
Okay, so only I can answer this, really.
I will admit, though, for that game, I did like I love the introduction. Arriving on the boat, it was very atmospheric, dealing with the monsters.
Yeah,
perfect. I think some of the stuff that I guess just stylistically, it wasn't quite what I was expecting. Like there was a lot of news clip cut-ins where they're like, "Yeah, this is going on in this island in the background," and they're reporting on it, and it was interesting, but just not what I was expecting for a Resident Evil connection.
Right. Okay. So I'll try to answer this question. Where do I think Jessica went to work after Morgan's arrest? It's really hard to speculate. It's like I really can't tell if she's a villain or anti-hero really at that point. So I can't even say. She probably worked for a company that was connected to Umbrella perhaps or Veltro. I honestly can't speculate a whole lot on that beyond that. All right, Frey, to both of us, hardest Resident Evil weapon to unlock that's not worth the hassle. Well, I can't accurately answer that question because I personally yes I can. I mean, it's not, it kind of is a hard weapon. To me it wasn't that hard, but the weapon that is not worth its reward or the requirement to get it is the rocket pistol in Resident Evil Village, the latest game. Honestly, you have to beat the hardest difficulty in order to unlock that, and you get this knockoff rocket launcher, basically.
Yeah, I'm definitely not qualified to answer that question, but if I had to throw out one, maybe the police barricade. The police caged weapon that you have to have a badge for on Resident Evil 2. Maybe.
Yeah,
just because you don't necessarily need it, but you have to be willing to risk life and limb just to get it. So,
I just know I remember in one of the scenarios, Leon specifically, it's a part for the Desert Eagle that's in there. Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell? All of this.
Yeah, I am a completionist, perfectionist, so it's like I don't mind all the backtracking you have to do throughout that police station to clear every room, but yeah, that is a little ridiculous. All right, or wait, Frey. No, I skipped another one. Night Kid. The credit song is good, is too good, is good too for N64. I think he's talking about for GoldenEye, when the credits roll. Yeah, that's another good one. Frey, wait, is Key Elements in Shank's server, or are you just blind? He's talking about Discord. I don't think you are yet.
Huh? I don't know what that means, but no, I'm not in it.
My Discord server. He was wondering if you had joined it at all yet, but
no, I'm not in there. Not that I'm reluctant to do so. It's just, I guess it's not a priority. I guess I don't know.
Do you even use Discord? Like,
no,
yeah,
I don't use Discord for anything.
There you go. That's fine. I was holding off on Discord for the longest time, and of course, now that I have one, I do wish I hadn't, but it is what it is.
Actually, now that I think about it, I've used Discord one time, and it was to get the game for Silent Hills. That's the only time I've ever used it.
Okay, sweet though. Frey, to both of us, worst Resident Evil mainline entry ending. So based on with what you've played anyway. So out of all the mainline Resident Evil games that you may have at least completed, which one do you think has the worst ending? Or it's like which worst mainline Resident Evil has? Yeah.
I want to say 6.
6?
Yeah, I want to say 6. Yeah.
Has multiple scenarios, hence multiple endings. Really, some of them very different from each other. But that's a good answer, I'd say. Let me think about that. For me, honestly, most of them have very similar endings, like with an explosion of some sort and then going off into the sunset. But let me think about this very carefully. Honestly, I agree with you, Trey. I think 6 is the worst mainline entry in terms of endings because it's just a little convoluted with all the different scenarios, and some of them have like indeterminate aftermaths, like we can't predict or something like that. Right. So I'm thinking specifically of like Leon and Ada's endings. Like, oh yeah, now Jake and Chris's are coming into play, but yeah, they're just all so different, and it's a little convoluted. In my opinion.
Well, I was going to say too is like this, as you were saying, that all of the games kind of essentially end with a big explosion. But I think in the case of 6, it's almost like an over saturation of it because all of them end that way in the same game.
Yeah,
and so it kind of just feels really, really cheesy a little bit, like almost fantasy. Like, and I get that the whole universe is fictional, but just all of them ending that way, no one having any sort of bad ending whatsoever. It's just, I don't know. It kind of takes you out of it a bit.
All right. So Feargale was just about to mention Grassloo when I brought up that YouTube channel. He's Steven friends with him. Sick. All right. Night Kid watches him too. Oh yeah. And see, this is what I was sort of referencing. He did game versions of the James Bond movies Tomorrow Never Dies, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Goldfinger.
Okay. I've seen Tomorrow Never Dies. That was a good one.
Yeah. There was a video game, of course, based on that. It was for the PS1, and it wasn't well received.
Okay.
I personally liked it because it was a childhood game, sort of, that I grew up with, but other than that, yeah, I could see why it was panned a little bit. I'm just checking a text message from work. Okay. No problem. Josh, or no. Feargale, zombie kill. This is one of his perks, Feargale. Throw darts at its head or inflate its head until it explodes. I'll go with the head inflation. That sounds pretty brutal.
Yeah, I'm digging the head inflation. Yes, it's very nostalgic.
Sweet. Josh, cool to both of us. What is something that we missed from the 2000s?
From the early 2000s?
Any part of the 2000s, apparently. Just something we miss. I'm trying to think. Honestly, can't think of much off the spot. DVD players? I don't know.
Damn.
It's like, to be honest, I'm not. I don't feel like going backwards in time when it comes to, like, I don't know, technology and whatnot. So I can't really think of anything on the spot that I miss.
I'll say probably rap music.
Rap music?
Just how it used to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could
before
understand
the
that.
trap era. I'm very much so when it comes to music, an old head.
All right, Flamingo Sama, hey, made it on time. How are we? We're doing well, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. Glad to see you, man. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Flamingo Sama is the one who made my Discord server happen. So he is a very important person now. All right, Night Kid, to both of us, do we sometimes wish smartphones never existed, especially when trying to take in surrounding scenery? Maybe every once in a while, in that regard, for a split second, I'll wish they haven't existed. So yeah, my eyes weren't so glued to it all the time. But yeah, it's very far and few.
I'm completely the opposite of that. I mean, this whole Q&A thing wouldn't even be possible without this, considering I'm doing this whole thing on my phone right now.
There you go. There's a good excuse right there. All right. To both of us from Frey, any music track that gives you nostalgia? It's like music track. It gives us
in general from anywhere.
I guess so. He didn't really specify. So I get nostalgia from all different sorts of music tracks. Titanic's soundtrack gives me major nostalgia, just to throw out an example.
Let me think. I was gonna say Slim Shady.
Hey man, if it gives you nostalgia, then that applies to the question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that for now.
Slim Shady. All right. Also, Frey, to Key specifically, what's your favorite Resident Evil game?
Okay, definitely Resident Evil 2 remake for sure.
Nice. To both of us, Resident Evil game with the worst soundtrack ever. Okay, for me, I'm going to say Resident Evil Director's Cut, DualShock version for the PS1.
I can't comment on it. I have no idea. I don't know. The ones that I have played, I've enjoyed. I can't say that I've ever listened to it and it's like, oh, what the fuck is that? I haven't had that moment happen. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Aaron Williams, hey, what's up? You just got home from school and ready to chat, especially after not having the best day. Oh, sorry to hear that, but this is what you needed to cheer you up. I'm glad we can cheer you up, man.
Right, that's awesome.
Sweet. All right, Fairgale to Key, have you played other 007 games?
There was one that I played, and it was in regards to when they did Casino Royale. It was like a video game movie for that. I don't even remember what console it was on, and I remember not really being impressed by it at all. I mean, I was a kid too at the time, but yeah, that's like the only other one I've played.
Yeah, nice. I myself played the movie game version of Quantum of Solace when it came out, which was the movie after Casino Royale. It was on PS2, so I'm assuming the one you played of Casino Royale I think they came out on both 6th and 7th gen consoles, so it could have been any one of those that you played it on. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Aaron Williams, first question from him. What Resident Evil game would we consider doing knife only? I think the answer is pretty obvious. For me, yeah, the answer is going to be obvious. It's Code Veronica, because the knife in that game is OP.
I'll be honest with you. I would never consider that.
It is a suicide mission if you don't have the skills, that's for sure.
I'm always going to stick with my 2 guns. Okay?
All right, Feargale, to Key specifically, did you know IO Interactive, which is the team behind the new Hitman games, is working on a new 007 game? I
did not know that. Now, is this the 007 game that we were talking about earlier, or is it like a revamped version of like GoldenEye or whatever, or is this totally unrelated?
Yeah, we'll have to answer that down in the bottom of the chat, I guess, for Trey here. Yeah. Let's see. Hellmaster, to both of us, would we ever use household items like silverware, blenders, vacuum cleaners, etc., or use woodwork items like chisels, buzzsaws, wood engravers, etc., to kill a zombie?
Yeah.
I'll go with the woodwork items if I had those in possession.
Now, is the question to choose one of those items, or is it just would we ever use them? Because I'd use all of them, whatever is closest.
I think in this context, it's like choose between the 2 sets of items to kill zombies, basically. Okay. So,
yeah, it's like I want to go with something sharp. Honestly, I would prefer a samurai sword if I'm being honest, but that's just me.
Yeah, I would go with the woodwork items because they're obviously gonna be more useful to kill. All right, Aaron Williams, in the previous Q&A, you mentioned that there was supposed to be a suppressor for the Killer 7 and TMP, and I said I would like to hear how the Killer 7 would sound with a suppressor. See next part. There is a YouTube channel called Kendo's Gun Shop, I've definitely heard of that, which goes over multiple Resident Evil weapons and cut weapons. In one of the cut weapons video, you can actually hear how the Killer 7 would sound with a suppressor. Oh dang, man. So yeah, there is an opportunity just to hear that. I need to check that out whenever. Yeah, it is a Magnum pistol, so I'll give it that. So it's less unbelievable. It's just, yeah, because it was a Magnum in the game, I was just curious how they would suppress that sound. All right. Also, not trying to promote another YouTube channel. Oh, you're fine, dude. You're mentioning another YouTube channel. It's not like you're spamming his username all up in the chat, so you're good. All right. Feargale, which of these 2 old guns do we both like more? The 1851 Navy revolver, also known as Wolfsbane, or the Colt single action army? I personally, between those 2 guns, I think I would like the 1851 Navy revolver more. It just looks more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, in my opinion. Trey,
I'm not a weapons expert, but I'm gonna go with Wolfsbane, but just because of the name.
Yeah, it's a better name, honestly. Yeah, it's something I used to have to do on these Q&As a lot, which I'm glad I really don't have to do anymore. Something that Wyatt did to me all the time. He made me look up like weapons, like on Google, and I would waste like 5 minutes on each one, just getting to know what the weapon looks like, because I had to answer the question.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of energy.
No, thank God. All right, Feargale. Yep, he's like, nice. Remake is his favorite game too. Key.
Sweet.
All right, Frey, to both of us, favorite dessert? I just like good old French vanilla ice cream in a bowl, man.
I like strawberry cheesecake ice cream.
Oh, that's freaking dope.
Yeah.
All right, wait a minute. Aaron Williams, do we ever plan or already played Resident Evil 4 VR? I definitely want to play it at some point when I get my hands on it.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those things where if somebody was offering, I'd be down to play it. But because you have to buy the headset and you have to buy the game itself. I
Yeah.
already have the headset, so it's like literally a whole new thing that I'd be starting up. So, but yeah, if Shane happens to have it, I'll come over and play it.
Oh, nice. All right. No. Oh, to answer the question you had, Key to Fairgale, no, IO is working on a whole new 007 game. So
I'm definitely stoked to see any trailer that they put out for it. I want to get my blood pumping for it,
yeah.
So,
all right, Flamingo Sama, to both of us, what's our dream Resident Evil game? Like, what would we want the story to cover, and who would we want to see make an appearance? Oh man. Okay, I'd say a dream Resident Evil game for me would feature like all the central characters of the series all in one game, like fighting the same battle or something like that. See, Resident Evil 6 came close to this. It's just somehow they did it the wrong way. I don't think you should make it like all different scenarios like they did. I feel like it should still be all one uniform scenario, but maybe throughout it you do switch roles and like take different paths or whatnot. So I would love the game that have the central characters be Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Leon Kennedy, Ada Wong, and Claire Redfield all in the same game somehow. And it's like, I don't know, another organization that was loosely based on Umbrella maybe, or something like that. It's obviously gotta have bioterrorism in it of some sort. But yeah, a game that has all the central characters in the same game would be an example of a dream game for me.
I would follow up with that, but preferably it also be like a winner take all kind of thing where we either lose some characters this time around, some high profile characters, or they finally put an end to this war. Because I don't know, and I like the idea that the war that never ends, but realistically, wars do come to an end at some point.
Yeah,
somebody's got to win. That's of course one idea, but the other one would be what me and Shane talked about a while back, and it was actually more so for a feature film in regards to Resident Evil, one that would take place in between the games, telling the stories of the notes that characters in the main games usually pick up along the way.
Oh, like
say for instance, a game that took place prior to Resident Evil 2, just before Leon arrives at the police station. How the police station came to be in a state of disarray, barricading up all of the hallways, the doorways, and trying to fight off the zombies from outside. Kind of like a Precinct 13 kind of movie, fighting off the bad guys.
Yeah.
Trying to withhold for as long as they can.
I think
that would have been awesome.
I think one of the most prominent files you come across that describes that whole situation, both the original and the remake of Resident Evil 2, it's from this soldier or police officer. I think it's a soldier, actually. His name is like David, and yeah, he just describes like day-to-day events until pretty much his whole team is wiped out or something like that, and he has like one bullet left in his gun, and I guess he contemplates suicide or something like that. So it's pretty nuts. I would love to see that scenario like unfold in an actual game or movie, So
yeah, I think that would be amazing.
That's good. That's really good. Like in between events would be nice. All right. Lost my spot a little bit with that question, but that was a good question. Let's see. Okay. To both favorite criminal. Okay, here we go. Fairgale, favorite critical moments in the Resident Evil franchise. An example would be Raccoon City's destruction or Oswald E. Spencer's death. So a critical like turning point moment in the franchise. Honestly, Raccoon City's the destruction of Raccoon City in the OG Resident Evil 3 Nemesis left an everlasting mark on the series, and it's like the feels and goosebumps I get every time I watch that cutscene with the soundtrack and the vocalization in the background and seeing the giant mushroom cloud at the end of it. It's like, yeah, Thanks, Fairgale, for sort of giving it to me on a silver plate. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Raccoon City's destruction in the OG Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same, just because literally it's referenced in every video game and every movie in relation to Resident Evil as this thing that sort of signifies as a turning point for the whole country, the whole planet. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Seriously, there you go. All right, Josh Cool 124. Oh yeah, you forgot IO Interactive had the license to 007, so he's sure they'll do an amazing game. All right. Frey to Key specifically, what's your favorite video game in general?
First thing that comes to mind is Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, I've always been a fan, but mainly because it was a game that I was not allowed to play.
Oh man,
yeah. When Grand Theft Auto Vice City came out, my mom refused to let me play that game, and it was a birthday present from my dad. So she made me give it to my uncle, and I could only watch him play it.
Wow.
So at some point, my mom finally was like, "Okay, fine, you can play it," and I played it like every single day.
That's funny because it's like I didn't own a Grand Theft Auto game myself until I was like in my let me see. The first one I ever owned was San Andreas for the PS2, and I want to say I got my hands on that around like 2009 to 2010. So I was already like 15 or 16 at that point. But that's funny you said that, because I do remember like my mom, like whenever I brought up that game for any reason, she was just like, no. So
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it really, and I understand that nowadays, of course. I probably would do the same thing, to be honest. I probably wouldn't let my kid play that until they're at least a teenager or something like that.
Because you want to make sure that their minds are able to interpret that what you're doing in the game is not okay to do in real life.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And a lot of people use that game franchise when they're trying to make a case that video games are violent, you know? So
it's okay to shoot at people. I do it in the games all the time.
God.
Like, what?
One of the worst things I did, man, was I took a freaking one of the shotguns in the game. It was like the Jailbreaker or Striker. I don't know what it's called in that game, but it's that type of shotgun that has like a drum for like a magazine or something like that. And I was just going around blowing women's heads off, dude. I don't know what took over me that day, but I was on a frenzy for some reason. In my mind, I was just thinking, God damn, this is hella brutal. I can see why people really don't like this game franchises in terms of violence. So, oh my God.
Well, I'll say the worst thing I ever did was beat someone to death with a dildo. So.
Okay. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, that game's just freaking brutal, but I love to sandbox the shit out of it.
Yeah.
All right. That was a good one. Frey, to both of us, how many hours do we usually work for? These days I work the solid 8-hour shift, sometimes more.
Yeah. 8-hour days, 5 days a week.
Yep. Very solid schedule. Also from Frey to both of us, do we listen to music all the time? I wouldn't say all the time, but I do love to listen to music, so I listen to it most of the time.
Yeah, I like to try to keep up with some of my favorite artists, at least the ones that are making music that I'm into. Like I like to listen to The Weeknd.
Yeah. Oh, I love The Weeknd, man. One of my favorite artists today, easily. All right, Aaron Williams, do y'all think the most OP weapon in the entire Resident Evil series? He thinks the PRL 412 from Resident Evil 4, which I kind of agree with. It's the most OP because you'd have to be straight rubbish in order to die with that gun in your inventory. So, Trey, if you don't know what the PRL 412 is, no. It's from Resident Evil 4 specifically. It's an you unlock it when you beat the game in professional mode, I'm pretty sure, and it shoots lasers basically out of it. It shoots like a beamed laser that kills like 6 or 7 enemies at once on the map. It is so OP, and it has quite a distance. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll say in regards to that game, as far as that I made it into that game, there's a part in there where you're facing off. I think it's with a mercenary. I think, and you're like in this corridor. And you're supposed to use QuickTime events to get from one safety spot to the next. And for whatever reason, I wasn't able to figure it out. So that's as far as I made it into that game. So I don't know at what point you get that gun, but
Gotcha.
it sounds OP. I'll say that.
Hellmaster, to both of us, have we ever tried Poutine?
No,
I
haven't.
WP, hey, okay, you come from the Shankster 94 channel, I can tell with this question. Best game in the Skate series? Skate 2, all the way.
I don't even know.
Yeah, this is, I have a separate channel that's called Shankster 94. It features primarily Skate 2 gameplay. There are a couple clips that actually show me in real life skateboarding. One of them, I collide with another skater. And the other one, I do the same trick that I collided with that skater, but I land the trick and it was redemption.
Okay. I've only played a couple skate games, and that like dates way back to like early 2000s. I can't even say which ones it was, but yeah, it's been a long time.
Were they part of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater franchise?
I think so.
Yeah, man, those were the best growing up.
Classics. I still remember the ones that I played on Nintendo. You know, doing all the tricks. In the warehouse, breaking through the glass. Oh man.
Yeah, man. All right, Frey, to both of us, do we like games that have multiple campaigns? I'm
trying to think of an example. Multiple campaigns, like different story modes for each character.
Probably something like that. I mean, I could appreciate the sense of variety such a game would entail. I don't know. I'm just having bad memories from Resident Evil 6 because that's an example of multiple scenarios, and that did not fare well with me. So I feel like I might be a little biased in that regard, and I'm going to probably say no. I probably wouldn't like games with multiple campaigns very much.
Well, it's like if you think about examples like Resident Evil 2, I mean, that was a case in which it worked out.
Yeah, it is a good example. I guess I'm confused. It's like I make campaigns and scenarios, while they may kind of mean the same thing. Scenario just sounds like a much better word to me. I don't like the campaign. Sounds like a Call of Duty game to me.
Well, yeah, to me it sounds like a full-on like story mode, which in my case, there's only one. You know, that goes from start to finish.
Yeah.
And I suppose there's also the possibility of where a character can make a decision and that might alter the story and how it unfolds. So that's hard.
Yeah.
I guess I prefer that. I don't know.
All right, fair gale to both of us. What do we think became of Neo Umbrella after Resident Evil 6? Oh.
They went bankrupt. I don't know.
I would imagine they got dissolved somehow. It's like, because, yeah, it wasn't good. Hellmaster 221, to Key specifically, would you ever imitate moves or voice lines in any game? If so, what game would it be?
Like in real life?
Yeah, would you ever imitate a game, basically? There you go.
I think it's a quick way to get arrested. But I guess if anything, it would be Grand Theft Auto, where you drop kick someone off a motorcycle. That would be awesome.
Oh my god!
No, I don't want to get arrested, so I'm good.
Any voice lines?
Voice lines. It's a good voice line. I almost said Resident Evil 3, like the "I'll give you stars," but no, that's not the one that I want to go with. I don't know. Maybe Terminator. Probably the "I'll be back."
Yep.
With weapons.
Okay. Rate connection successful. Lost connection there for just a little bit. We should be back though. Okay. All right. Aaron Williams, what Resident Evil boss do we think is the hardest? For him, it's a tie between the Tyrant Plane boss and Code Veronica, which made him restart the whole game. Yeah, you can get soft locked in there. And Rev 1 final boss, which is Norman. Jack Norman, also known as the Abyss. But yeah, it took him a whole week to beat him. Okay, so what Resident Evil boss do we think is the hardest in the franchise? For me, yeah. I mean, you didn't specify mainline, so I'm going to go with the V complex from Resident Evil Darkside Chronicles. Yeah, that one still is a crazy struggle for me, even when I recently played it. Yeah, so I'm going with that.
Which boss is the most difficult?
Yeah, what's the hardest Resident Evil boss with the games you've played, in your opinion?
Damn, that's crazy because, I don't know, I always kind of feel like they're all very much on par with each other, just they usually offer something that's unique. Like maybe Wesker in Resident Evil 5, but because he's a physical person that's not like this huge monstrosity where it's kind of hard to miss shooting all those eyeballs, you know?
Yeah.
You literally have to go toe to toe with him. So I think I want to say Wesker, probably, I guess is it the first or second fight where it's like in an airport wing, you know, like where he takes the glasses off and he throws them at you?
That's the second fight.
Second fight. Okay. So I want to say that fight.
Okay, dude, I actually have a blast with that fight specifically because if you manage to land shots on him and you could stun him and just go to hell with melee attacks on his ass, dude. Also, yeah. That is the timer going off, so okay. We are done answering questions. So the last question we will answer when we get to it will be Feargale's. Do we think Tricell was trying to become a new Umbrella, or do we think they were wording together like Chris theorized in 5? So that will be the last question we answer once we get to it. So now we're gonna play catch up and just answer to the rest of the questions we have. No more questions. All right. So let's see what Resident Evil. Oh, here we go. What from Frey to both of us? What time do we usually sleep at? Do we have trouble sleeping, or do we fall asleep the moment our head hits the pillow? On average, I tend to go to bed between like 1 and 2 a.m. Honestly, I'm a bit of a night owl. It's mostly due to my job, but I've always been a night owl. So yeah, that's the time I usually sleep at. Having trouble sleeping, it really depends on a multitude of factors. On average, I can fall asleep within 5 to 10 minutes, especially if I'm tired. So yeah, if I'm not having a good day or my mind is running, it could take up to a half an hour maybe, or I just get out of the bed, do something real quick, and then try again. But yeah, that's where I stand with that.
I guess I could say I used to be more like Shane back when we had the same shift. You know, because I felt like I was missing out on so much of the day that when I got home, I wanted to do stuff, even though it was already like 12:30. But now, honestly, the moment my head hits the pillow, I am out, like unconscious. Do not wake me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron Williams, what Resident Evil villain could return? Pretty sure everyone thinks it's Wesker. I do not think so. Characters who are dead should stay dead. Do not break logic in this franchise.
They could hit you with a clone.
I know. That's what I'm afraid of. They're gonna do one day. But anyway, what Resident Evil villain should or could return? Alex Wesker, because we haven't seen a follow-up to her since the ending of Revelations 2. So I feel like that's one of the most applicable villains to make a return.
I can't say that I have a say on that.
An
exactly.
Answer. All right, yeah. No problem. Frey, to both of us, most embarrassing memory in our lives. Ones I care to share, anyway. One I can share. I was in like 8th grade, and we were on a field trip to Raging Waters down south in California, or something like that. And it's one of those water parks that has a gigantic pool that simulates waves like every so often. And for some reason, see, I was going up and down in the water like constantly, and a freaking lifeguard mistook me for drowning. So he freaking dove off the platform like 10 feet high into the water and yeah, swam straight to me. At this point, I was fine. I was above the water. I was like, wait, why are you coming towards me? And it was embarrassing. He escorted me out of the pool, and they did the whole, I guess it's just policy, but they had to make me fill out a questionnaire and some information, even though I was not drowning whatsoever. I was like, yeah, I was so embarrassed because everyone was looking at me at that point. So yeah, I didn't even go back into the pool after that. Freaking, because the guard made a mistake. Sure, he was doing his job and he thought I was drowning, so he had every right to do what he did. But yeah, I suffered hell of embarrassment from it. There you go.
I'm trying to think of one. It's not to say that I don't have embarrassing stuff that happened. I've definitely had embarrassing stuff. Damn, what's one? Trying to find one that I'm comfortable with.
Right.
Damn, what is one? Well, okay, I'm going to be extremely loose on details, but there's the great restroom incident.
Really?
Yeah, so it was a school day, and I had extreme diarrhea on this particular day, and went to the restroom, and let's just say I missed the toilet. So there.
Oh wow, I see.
I tried to clean it up, and it only made it worse.
Oh man. That's a good one. All right, Hellmaster, in reference to what you said you apparently did, beat someone up with a dildo. That sounds like Saints Row.
Yeah, you can do stuff like that on Saints. Hell, Saints Row is more known for doing the quirky, over-the-top stuff.
Yeah, than Grand Theft Auto.
It's kind of how they market themselves now.
All right. Fair Gale, to me specifically, have I ever played a game drunk or high? Oh yeah, plenty of times. I've played Dead by Daylight like any way I could be like intoxicated, like that I've done in my life. Let's see. Also, to me, it was discovered that the Heckler & Koch G3 rifle was originally going to be in Resident Evil 8, possibly the semi-automatic rifle of the game. Should it have been included in the game? Yeah, I think so, because since Resident Evil 4, they were pretty good with the formula of sniper rifles, always having one bolt action and at least one other that was semi-automatic. So, yeah, I think they should have put that in there, even though the F2 in Resident Evil Village is a really nice rifle. And it's not a bad bolt-action rifle, at least for me, so... all right, Fair Gale also, Zombie Kill Herd Edition. Shoot them all down with a minigun that can decapitate them, or run over them all with a combine harvester. I'm going with the combine harvester, man. Holy shit.
Damn.
That's a lot of blood and guts.
I want to go with that, with the harvester, but I love miniguns.
So yeah, you're gonna shoot them all up, eh?
Until I run out.
Yep.
I'm getting that combine harvester.
All right. Frey, you liked games with multiple campaigns until you played 3 Houses. It took him 202 stupid hours to beat all the campaigns. Good lord. So yeah, that's a little much, it sounds like.
Yeah, sounds like overkill.
Okay. Okay, to both, Fear Gale, most absurd Resident Evil enemy. Man.
Absurd. Oh, I know. The guy from Resident Evil 5 on the ship. He's like the weapons dealer.
Oh, freaking Irving. Like,
yeah, he was so annoying.
He's definitely one of the most annoying enemies in the franchise. I'll give you that. He's in my like bottom 5 or top 5 of most annoying characters in general. Absurd. So it could be an annoying. It could be just utterly ridiculous. Man, there's quite a few enemies that match that, description. I'm gonna go with probably like moths in Resident Evil 2. Like, I think they're completely unnecessary. I don't even think they do much to you unless you get close to them. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Frey, to both of us, we like games. Do we like games with multiple endings? I do like those. I do like those types of games. It gives significant replayability, and yeah, because of the completionist in me, I like to experience each and every one of them.
Is it? I do love games with multiple endings, though I don't necessarily feel the need to try to experience each and every one of them. It's more so me feeling confident with the character's choices that I made in the outcome that I got. So, like a case in like Infamous 2, choosing the good guy ending for me every time.
Yeah,
just because that's me.
All right, Fairgale. To me specifically, what was my best weed moment? I would have to say it was more around when I was still getting into it. So this was like way back in 2018. Because I had no tolerance yet, my highs were pretty crazy. And ooh, got a subscriber just now. Awesome, Dan Shell just subscribed. Anyway, so back to the question. Just one of these times I was high, I was eating some ramen and I was just laughing my ass off like all the time at every little thing that was said to me, everything I was hearing. Oh man, that was one of my best read moments. I do not get highs like that anymore. It sucks. My tolerance is just too high. It just relaxes me these days. That's pretty much the best it does. All right, Frey, to both of us, what do we dislike about our jobs? For me, nowadays, what I dislike about it maybe is the routine. It's very repetitive, of course, and unless we have something crazy happen in the news, the days aren't super interesting. Have little events like community events that we report on, which is nice for the community, but now what I dislike... Oh, okay. That's describing maybe the most boring part of my job. What I dislike the most about my job is when I get a ton of like requests from affiliate stations to send them our footage, because I'm one of the people in charge of doing that. Just yesterday, actually, is a good example. I got like 5 different requests from people wanting like the same story or something like that. Granted, it was a popular story, but yeah, that's one of the things I dislike the most about my job is fulfilling requests. There you
go. For me, I'd say it's the clerical aspect. You know, having to write down changes to commercial breaks and things like that, because it all appears on an as run, a PDF document. So it's like I'm doing it twice, only by hand, which is kind of annoying.
Damn, dude. All right, Frey, to me specifically, most bullshit enemy in Resident Evil. It could be because they are hard to defeat, because they're too annoying, etc. The most bullshit enemy is the Reaper in Resident Evil 5, because they could just grab you and insta-kill you just like that and set you back. And it's like it requires to shoot a specific spot on them in order to defeat them, unless you have an explosive of some sort, and even then it has to be a very powerful explosive, like the proximity bomb or the rocket launcher.
Yeah, the most annoying enemy. Is that the question?
The question was to me specifically. But it was the most bullshit enemy in Resident Evil. So it's just like, oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah, nothing comes to mind, but
yeah. All right. This is the final question. Here we go. Do I think Tricell was trying to become the new Umbrella, or do I think they were working together like Chris theorized in Resident Evil 5? Man, both scenarios could be the case, honestly, just with their shadiness and everything. I would lean more towards they were trying to become the new Umbrella, honestly, with how their dealings were going, and with Excella, like one of the people at the helm or something, working with Wesker. It's like, yeah. And I'm sure Wesker, I don't know, I think Wesker dislikes Umbrella. That's why he left them initially in Resident Evil 1. So it's like the fact that Excel is working with Wesker, and she's one of the heads of Tricell. I don't really see them working with Umbrella. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but yeah. So I'm leaning more towards they were trying to become the new Umbrella. All right. I'm out of water. All right. Well, that's this Q&A. That was a great one. So thank everyone who's participated, and of course, thanks Key Elements Trey for participating in this Q&A. I'm really glad we did this.
Yeah, I'm glad it's my first one. Well, being a part of it to this degree.
Yeah,
so,
seriously.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I know. And yeah, you got a fair amount of questions, so I'm really happy for that. All right, guys. So this is going to conclude this Q&A. Of course, I'll have one for next month. I don't know yet if I'm going to do anything special for that one, but we'll see. But until then, let's officially conclude. I am Shankster94, aka the Gamer Shankster. Rate, comment, subscribe. Key, you have an outro?
Yeah, this is Trey Keys coming straight from out of Key Elements. Be sure to drop by and check out some of the content that we got on there, whether it's gameplays, movie reviews, or whatever you may be into.
Yeah. Follow us on social media down below, and we'll catch you guys another time, hopefully. All right. Peace out. See you all later.